Okay, we are thrilled to have Craig Weintraub, president of Weintraub Films and the co-founder of the Long Beach International Film Festival with us tonight. Craig, welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is really one of my favorite events. We love doing this show. Every year, Rocco and I go to the Long Beach International Film Festival. It's such an amazing event. But let's start with you. Let's go back. When at NYU and growing up, when did you develop your passion for films?
Well, I mean, I think we all have a passion as children watching films growing up, and then you just, when you become a filmmaker, there's that point in your life where you go, I don't want to just watch them, I'd like to make them. So I personally myself started out as an actor. I did commercial work, I did some small-time independent films here on Long Island. And then it was just, like, I remember just seeing films like Legends of the Fall back in the I think it was early to mid-90s. I just saw some great films, and it just wouldn't let me go, and I said to myself, this is what I want to do. And like I said, it started as an actor, and I did theater in elementary, in middle school, in high school, and eventually went on to Hofstra University. I took their drama program, their theater program, and then I said, you know what, if I want to be in this industry for the rest of my life, and I want to make a living doing it, you got to be more than just one-dimensional. And so I said, let me learn about behind the camera, and whether it's writing, producing, directing. I said, let me just try and become more well-rounded and understand, the craft. So that's when I went to NYU. I went to their film school, and I continued to take acting classes at Lee Strasberg in Manhattan, and also the Stella Adler Conservatory. And then, with the philosophy of if you want to learn how to build a house, you go build a house. So I just started making movies, working on other people's movies, and learning as much as I possibly could.
Awesome. Talk about being one of the co-founders of the Long Beach International Film Festival, and what that challenge was like getting it off the ground.
I mean, with anything, there's no book on how to start a film festival. And maybe there is now, but there wasn't, back in 2010 and 11 when, this idea originally hit me. I had my films in festivals around the country, around the state, around the island, around the country, and also internationally as well. And I said to myself, why is this not in Long Beach? When you go to the Cannes International Film Festival, it's 70 years that they've been doing the Cannes Film Festival. It's one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world. It's on the beach, or the Croisette, as they say. And the only difference between Long Beach and Cannes is that 70 years ago, somebody made the decision to start a film festival there, and now it's in the fabric of the community, and it's synonymous with the town. So that's we're just trying to bring in more culture, more arts. There's great stories from around the world, and those stories we can exhibit at the film festival, which you generally don't see at the regular movie theater. Those are more so just blockbusters.
Absolutely, and I can't even imagine, but talk about the planning and preparation that goes into making this, which is such a huge event, the Long Beach International Film Festival, because it's something that I'm sure you work on all year round for this coming week.
Yeah, there's only 365 days in a year, and you probably need 2 years to really appropriately do one festival. But we feel like we're always playing catch up no matter what, and there's a lot of planning that goes into it. We have people that work on the festival locally, and there's people who work on the festival that work at other festivals, as far as even the Sonoma Film Festival out in California, and Newport Beach Film Festival. So it really is just there's a lot of details that go into it, but once we're in our 8th year now, and so it starts developing a pattern of our off-season planning, and you can start becoming more and more efficient. And I'd like to think we have, but when you're a few days before the festival, no matter what you do, you always feel like you needed to plan more, you need to do more, but it always ends up okay.
All right, now I'm going to turn the next portion over to my compatriot, one Rocco Passafuime, and Rocco, who is a film enthusiast, is going to get into the nitty-gritty and the films that people can enjoy at this year's Long Beach International Film Festival. So take it away, Rocco.
Thank you very much, Howie. Thank you for your time. First thing I would like to say right off the bat, in terms of a question, would be, what is it about the International Film Festival, for people that are not like film connoisseurs, so to speak, what do you feel would make them want to do it? Like what would you say to people to encourage them to come out to this event?
I would say that, if you've never been before, definitely give it a shot. We have great free screenings over at the Long Beach Public Library. There's trailers for a lot of our films on our website. So I encourage them to really just take a look at the film program, see what might pique their interest, and come see a screening or two at the festival if they've never been. And if you have been, obviously there's a refreshed slate of films every year.
Right.
So there's such a vast storytelling canvas of films in this year's festival that it's hard not to find something you'd love.
What is the big feature film this year?
Well, you know what? There's several. We open with Astronaut, starring Richard Dreyfuss on opening night, which is a very exciting family film. The trailer, also on our website, it's a really wonderful film. Then we have great documentaries in the film. We have a film called The Dog Doc, which is, I've seen it. I was laughing, I was crying. It's checking all the boxes, and it's just such an important story. We close the festival with Dennis and Lois, which is another documentary about this couple named Dennis and Lois, who for 40 years have traveled tens of thousands of miles, seeing, I forget the number, but thousands of concerts of their favorite bands. And they're what they say is, just because the calendar changes another year and they get 1 year older doesn't mean they have to change their lifestyle. So I think there's a lot of films that have, very inspiring.
What do you feel is your film festival, and maybe others like it, how do you feel, what is the important aspect of a film festival in terms of how it affects the film industry? Like, what do you feel like the filmmakers and all that, like what do you feel like what is you feel like is your role in shaping where the film industry is right now?
From that standpoint, I would say that film festivals play a vital role of bringing films into communities that they generally would not normally be able to see.
Right.
So, like I was touching on before, whereas you can go to the local theater and there's many blockbuster films.
Yes.
You can't go see, films about, somebody's real life struggle in Syria in a great documentary. So, I think there's a moral obligation to tell these stories and to that's what a film festival like ours especially does, and we take on that responsibility.
Given that the theatrical film industry has gone through many changes as of late, and especially with the domination of streaming like Netflix, where do you see the industry going with all that? Like, more people are watching series now. Like, where do you feel is the theatrical film industry's place at this point with film festivals and all that, like, given this new environment that is happening?
Well, I think just the simple going to a movie theater and watching a film has, it's sometimes people just go, well, I could just do the same thing watching at home, so you kind of have to up the entertainment level, up the experience. And so that's also what we do at the festival. We combine great films with great food, great wine, great craft beer. We really, wanted to touch on all the senses and just really come out and have a great time.
Yes. What, in terms of like the history of the film festival, what has been for you the most successful film that has come out of the festival? Like, what has gotten the biggest, like in terms of reception, biggest pickup or what have you? Like, in the whole history, like, what was your biggest success?
Well, I'll tell you the one top of mind right now. There's a film called Money that had its premiere at the 2016 Long Beach International Film Festival. There was a sales agent that was in the audience who saw the film, and 2 days after their screening, they had a deal in place to distribute it. I forget the distributor, but they got worldwide distribution from our festival, and they were on WABC TV last week doing an interview about that success story. So it's things like that. You never know who's in the audience watching the film. You know, a lot of distribution companies and sales agents come to these festivals and see films that they also wouldn't normally get to see. So it's not just a
Right.
you know moviegoer thing, but it's also an industry thing. Industry
Yes.
comes to watch films and to find little gems that they can distribute and
Naturally.
make some money.
Yes. Well, that's all I have for my end of the deal, but thank you for your time, and I definitely look forward to checking out everything at the film festival this
We look
year.
forward to having you there.
Wait, we're going to stand and go over this for the conclusion of this. Craig, let's stand up for a little bit. And why don't we give show the big events that are going to be happening, and let Craig in specific talk about them right on the poster. So, Craig, Wednesday night, July 31st, Taste on the Plaza. Let's talk about that.
Taste on the Plaza, where we're going to have a bunch of restaurants, over 80 wines, about a dozen brews, and it's really a great celebration of opening night, celebration of filmmakers, and a big, gigantic tent at Long Beach Kennedy Plaza. Tickets are on sale now. Then we have the following night, we have Chefs in Shorts, which is a...
Oh wait, can I interrupt you for
Absolutely.
1 second to say that the food is phenomenal, amazing, mouth-watering. I love it every year. There's nothing like food. It's so good. He brings in the best every year. So, folks, for the food, like me, if you love food, absolutely tasting on the Plaza is a must. Go ahead, Greg.
What he said. And then Chefs in Shorts the following night. It's 5 chefs, each individually create a dish that's based off of a short film, and it's also paired with a wine. So we show the short film, the chef then comes out, talks about what inspired them to create that dish. The kitchen brings out the dishes for 150 people, the wine is poured, and we continue that format for the rest of the evening. Friday night, we have our staple event, which is the free event that we started with back in 2012 called Shorts on the Beach. Starting at 5 p.m., we'll have concert on the beach with many musical acts. And then at 9 o'clock, the best short films from around the world will screen from 9 to about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then on Saturday night, we have our casino night fundraiser in the ballroom of the Long Beach Hotel. It's a fundraiser that we hold. It's very, very important to us. All the donations go to the Cohen Children's Medical Center.
Awesome.
And it's also our Filmmaker Awards there as well. So the Long Beach Hotel, Saturday night, 7 p.m. There'll also be wine and craft beer tastings there as well.
All right, awesome. By the way, I want to close this interview. Craig, first of all, I know you're busy. Thanks for coming. It's awesome. But I want to close this interview with a little surprise for you, okay?
Uh-oh.
You are a filmmaker, are you not?
Yes, I am.
You are from Long Beach, are you not?
I was until Sandy moved me out. Now I'm Oceanside.
But you're in the neighborhood, you're in Long Beach.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So, let's walk over here. Do you like a challenge, Craig?
Yeah, sure.
You're a passionate filmmaker, are you not?
Yes.
All right, you know a fellow by the name of Harvey Wiesenberg, do you not?
Never heard of him before.
All right, can we bring Harvey Wiesenberg up here? I want to give you a challenge.
Okay.
On the spot. Harvey, come over here, please. As you know, legendary, iconic Harvey Wiesenberg has authored a book called For the Love of a Child, all right?
I just got my copy today, and I encourage everyone else to get theirs.
All right. Now, Harvey came up with a thought that this book would make a great movie. So my challenge to you, the one and only Craig Weintraub, is how about you direct Harvey's movie? What do you think of that idea?
I think that without even going through those pages of that book and knowing Harvey Wiesenberg and the life that he's lived and continues to live is inspiring on so many levels and can teach lessons to so many people, more than even just lessons. So I would be honored to start the process of whatever it takes in order to start doing that and bringing that story to life.
Harvey, now what do you think of this idea, having the great Craig Weintraub do your movie, getting Harvey Wiesenberg on the big screen?
Great.
I've been on the big screen. On the big screen up in Albany, 25 years of dedicated public service. And the rewards of my job as a legislator and elected official are the thank yous that you get for what you do. And unfortunately, a lot of people who go into government are in there for power and money and not the real benefit of what this profession is and the institution. The institution works and so many people benefit. And that's what this is really all about. That's what it's called, public service. And I just want to share, Craig. I know him for many years. I know his talent. By the way, I have my bachelor's degree from NYU and my doctorate from Hofstra. And we're giving endowment scholarships. I have a Ricky scholarship at Hofstra. For anybody who's going to work with special children, we'll get a scholarship, and it's going to be there forever. And then I have an endowment scholarship for nursing, and that's from my wife Ellen, from Adelphi. So we're giving back as best we can. But you know, it's interesting because I will look at the agenda, and I'm telling you, I have over 500,000 people thanking me in the state of New York, and in the last 4 years, I was involved in getting over $145 million in the New York State budget for people with disabilities, when the governor of the state of New York was not involved until he was forced into making a decision because the Assembly and the Senate unanimously voted to be able to supply the necessary funding, dignity and respect, and a safe and healthy environment for our families. So we have a mission, and I thank God that we have people who are professional. And as I looked at your agenda and everything, I said, in that thing there is nothing about people with disabilities. And that's unfortunate because we are now opening a door to show what the unconditional love that you get from a special child is like no love you could ever imagine. And I know that because I live that every day. When I'm with my special child, and I was with Ricky, our happiest day was being with a child who could not speak, cry, and is blind, but you could feel his love. And I want families in the world to know and to share the wonderful feeling that you get from helping people with disabilities. So I thank you, and I appreciate any effort we can to make people aware and give this world a little more of a smile and some happiness. God knows we need it.
Okay, thank you, Craig, so much. Thank you, Harvey, and
Thank you.
folks, Wednesday night, it all begins. The Long Beach International Film Festival. It's gonna be awesome.